Jasper, say sorry. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Oh.
Jasper's looking at it. Hi, welcome back.
Today, we are going to be showing you guys a fun fall recipe that's great for small and big families alike. It is one of our favorite Halloween traditions, dinner in a pumpkin. Now, the way we make dinner in a pumpkin is a little bit different than some of the other people that you may have seen. We have allergies in our family. We have wheat allergies and we have dairy allergies. And so we have to make our hamburger filling a little differently, and we thought it would be fun to show a gluten-free, dairy-free way of making dinner in a pumpkin. So the most fun thing about dinner in a pumpkin is, of course, decorating the pumpkins with faces. So that's what these kids are going to do first. You guys are going to draw cute little pumpkin faces on these pumpkins, and then we will get cleaning them out. Is to cut them open and pull out the guts. All right, the tops are all cut. Everybody can start taking out the guts. Okay, don't do that, okay, guys?
It was an accident, Mom.
Yeah, I know. So over here, we are actually pre-cooking our rice because we don't like to use instant rice. You can use instant rice. Many recipes call for that. But we just like to pre-cook our rice and make it the easy way with our power cooker, instant pots type thing. So that is done. And then we have taken the seeds, not just from the pumpkins tonight, but also from our pumpkins the other night. And we have put them in some salt water to brine them, and we are going to let them soak for a couple of days, and then we're going to bake them with olive oil and salt. It's one of our favorite treats, and we don't let any part of the pumpkin go to waste. As you can see, this is our food waste bucket that we take to our chickens every day. We are giving the pulp to the chickens, so we are using every part of the pumpkin. Okay, so the recipe that we're doing calls for 1 medium onion or 1 small onion. We're going for medium onions, and we like onions, so we are going to do 2 full onions for our recipe. We are doubling the recipe for us, but in the description below, we will put the regular recipe for you guys. So we're using olive oil because some of the recipes call for butter, and we're just going to use the olive oil to cook the onions in, right? Whatever. And we're just going to saute these until they're soft. All right, now we're going to add some mushrooms. We've got 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms. You can use canned mushrooms if you want, or you can just omit the mushrooms if you don't like mushrooms. We're going to cook these up.
I haven't had mushrooms in a while. I'll just try. I've never tried mushrooms in a long time.
Okay, they're ready, so we are going to add in the ground beef. For our family, we're using 3 pounds, but the recipe normally calls for 1.5 pounds. So we're not draining our ground beef because we actually used a really low fat 93.7. If you're using a higher fat ground beef, you're definitely going to want to drain the grease off of this, but we want to keep it for moisture's sake. And we are going to add 3 cups of water, and this is the reason we're doing this is because we are actually making our flavors with bouillon, using bouillon instead of the called for cream of chicken soup that you use in pretty much all the recipes on the internet. So we're doing 3 cups of water. We're doing basically 1 cup of bouillon water per pound of ground beef. You can choose how much you want to make. We're actually going to add the soy sauce to the recipe first, and then we're going to add bouillon to taste because everybody's taste is different. I suggest starting with a small amount of bouillon. The one we're using is this broth base. You can use whatever one you want. If you want to, if you want to do something with no MSG, I believe this has MSG in it, so that's up to you. But anyway, this is the one we like to use. We like the flavor of this one. We are making sure to use gluten-free soy sauce. If you're gluten-free, you probably already know that, but a lot of soy sauces are made from wheat, so make sure you get one that specifically says gluten-free. We are going to add in, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, so we are going to add in 4 tablespoons of gluten-free soy sauce. We're going to mix that in, then we're going to add, basically I'm going to start with the amount you would use to make a cup of bouillon, but we do usually end up flavoring it just a little bit more. Also, you can add salt if you prefer to add salt instead of more bouillon flavoring. It's up to you. All right, so we are adding 2 tablespoons of this broth base. Like I said, it's to taste. You guys decide how much you want to put in. All right, so I'm just going to taste this and see where we're at. We add 1 more tablespoon.
I say 1.
See where we're at. Now this is where it gets tricky. At this point, those of us who do not eat carbs, we have to thicken it up with xanthan gum. We're going to have to split it out into different bowls. Some are going to be dairy-free, some are going to be not. Xanthan gum can be quite tricky. We have been using xanthan gum for quite a while, and we have discovered that there's no like magical number of how much xanthan gum to add, and you have to be really careful. And it's even harder to mix in than wheat flour or cornstarch, but it thickens up more so than that. So we actually have this little spoon, and we just basically sprinkle a tiny bit in, stir it up, and then we just keep doing that until we like the thickness. You want it to be kind of a gravy type, maybe a little thicker than gravy thickness when we get it done. If you put too much in at once, you'll get a big gloppy mess, and if you put too much in altogether, it will solidify, so be careful. All right, next we're going to add canned water chestnuts. This really does give the dinner to pumpkin its classical taste. So if you don't like these, don't use them, but us people who eat low carb, we love these things because it's almost like a potato, just a little bit of bite to it. The recipe calls for 1 can, so since we're doubling recipe, we are going to use 2. Okay, so we're adding green beans into ours just because we like to have something green. You could use green peas. Frozen peas are really good in it. You could use carrots. You could put celery in it. There's lots of different ways to get some veggies in, but we're going to stick to doing green beans with our recipe. Okay, so this is where it gets really complicated. But we're going to use 1 cup of rice for this 1 little pumpkin for the dairy-free kids. We're going to mix some of the mixture in here and pack it into 1 pumpkin for the dairy-free kids. Then we're going to add cream to it for everyone else, and then pack mine and my husband, who can't eat rice, into our pumpkin, and then we're going to add the rest into the rest of the rice and put it in the rest of the pumpkins for all the other kids. So it's a little complicated, but we make it work. We're used to complicated around here. We usually make more than 1 meal, so this is nothing compared to what we usually do. All right, so we added about 1 cup of the mixture in with 1 cup of rice, a little bit more than 1 cup, and we are packing it into this little pumpkin. We used itty bitty pumpkins so that we could let more kids decorate, and so that we could get more pumpkin itself, and so that we could divide it up into different people with different allergies. Woohoo! Look at that. Perfect. So you actually put the lids back on these little buggers and cook them like that in the oven. Bake them on a baking sheet. It's kind of cool. Okay, we're guesstimating on this cream thing because a lot of them ask for cream soup. So we are now putting in 1 cup of cream so that we can make it creamier for those of us who are not allergic to dairy and love our heavy whipping cream. That looks so good. Stir that in and see if we like how it looks, I guess. That looks good. So 1 cup for a double recipe. So we'll say a half a cup for you guys of heavy whipping cream. All right, so we got all of the keto-friendly one filled up, and then we are gonna add this one to the rice, and then fill up our other 3 pumpkins. So we are just mixing up our mixture into the rice, get it all nice and incorporated, and then we will scoop it into the pumpkins. Ah, and there you have it, folks, filled pumpkin. So we have our keto pumpkin, our dairy-free pumpkin, and our 3 yummy, creamy deliciousness gluten-free pumpkin. And these have to bake for a ridiculously long amount of time. So these are going in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes, and then you're gonna check the doneness of the pumpkin, and if it's not done, you have to bake it even longer. So yeah, it's definitely a time-consuming dinner, which is probably why we only do it once a year. Ooh, look at those dinners. Look at those dinners. They look so good.
Don't touch, don't touch.
What's the matter?
She doesn't want to eat the dinner.
Oh, well then she can starve. Okay. No, we're not going to make you different food. This is what we're
She
eating.
wants different food.
I know. He just wants the meat and the rice, but I told him some pumpkin will get in it and he'll have to pick it out.
I don't want to eat on the bottom.
On the bottom, you mean the pumpkin?
I'll be right back. I need a plate. I don't want to eat the keto food.
Oh, that looks so good. Yummy!
That's not for me.
Yummy, yummy! Oh, did you touch it?
Yes, he did.
Shoot. Okay, let me get you in the water. Yeah, it's food. Try it. It's pumpkin. Do you like it? No? Well, do you like this part?
I need to get some of my dinner.
How's it taste? Is it thumbs up? Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that really fun recipe. It's kind of a crazy one, and it's one we really enjoy, but like I said, it's a lot of work, so we only do it once a year. Don't forget to check out 21st Century Mama for her half of this really fun fall recipe collab. She has a really great channel. She does a lot of really fun stuff, homemaking stuff and cleaning stuff and recipes and things like that. So don't forget to check her channel out and let them know you came from Hide and Seek. And if you're here from 21st Century Mama's channel, hi and welcome. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around and become part of the Seekers and join our family.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe,